We took a very serious salary cut in 2008, and then we were hit with very serious cost of living increases in the 3 years that followed. These were so serious that they made the front page of the tabloids.
Basically what we lost in 2008 was a lot of status. We also didn't get any kind of a raise, any kind of a living raise, which is really quite difficult.
Well, I would say I lost about 40% of my income at that point.
I approximately cut my income by about 1/3.
In the 2008 contract, I lost a lot of working hours.
And did you have a salary cut as well?
Yes, I did have a salary cut as well.
Any estimated?
Probably around $2 an hour.
I lost in that 2008 contract. What I lost was the lunch and supper money, and I lost time. That was the worst part.
We were supposed to be given some raise, but it didn't happen.
Since 2008, we have had our hours cut. We have had our breaks cut. We've had our schedules manipulated so that the breaks that we are allowed disappeared because the buses run longer than the company says so, and suddenly you come back to Times Square and they say leave immediately. So we start doing back-to-back buses. We do 5 hours, 6 hours straight on a bus without breaking.
I also lost a kind of level of sanity in terms of having breaks and stuff like that. That really fit into it's very hard to do this job 6 hours straight or 7 hours straight.
So you'll be on the bus 6 hours straight, nonstop?
Oh yeah.
You never stop talking?
Yeah, basically. I mean, that's pretty common. 2 downtowns in a row are 6 hours, and you know, that may happen 4 or 5 times a week. So that's really intense.
We don't have breaks as much as we need to have. It seems very difficult, if you will, to be able to schedule things in terms of bids and things like that, when it's kind of difficult to also be able to have lunches and breaks and things like that, which would really be nice.
They give us a half hour required by law, and then they set the whole thing up so that the half hour disappears. You don't get off the bus until your next bus is needed.
It's very, very stressful to have the experience of doing one run after another run because it damages the voice.
We used to have like an hour break, or even a half an hour break really brings a level of sanity. You can really decompress a little bit.
Since 2005, we've had less and less retention of newer tour guides, new blood to keep the company going, because they have been holding down the salary of the new hires. We're trying to raise everybody's salary. Specifically, we're trying to raise the salary of the new hires. If we can raise the salary of the new hires, we will retain people better. We will be able to keep her longer. We'll be able to bring new blood into the company more effectively.
It takes me over $20 a day to come to New York City. I come from Connecticut, and a lot of people are commuting. That's our life here. We can't afford to live in New York City.
We want a reasonable salary. We want reasonable breaks. We want our hours back. We want our money back.
What I need in the next contract is a raise, a living raise. And actually, my apartments are not getting any less. As a matter of fact, it's getting more expensive. New York City is getting to be much more expensive. To be able to keep the quality of the tour guides and the tours, I think that they need to be able to treat us a little bit better.
What they ought to be doing is paying more money to the tour guides, getting better tour guides, and in the long run, they will increase their customer base and make more money doing that than trying to race to the bottom.
What I'd like in the new contract is more space between tours. I think that we deserve breaks in between tours. That should be standard, and I think it's a law. I think a pay increase would be certainly nice, and I would like morale to come up, and I would like this time for management to value the company, and in turn for the employees to be, you know, reasonable with management as well.
In the next contract, I would like more to get the pay that I lost back, as well as the hours that I've lost.
More money. It would be nice if we had a little bit of a longer lunch break. I've heard the glory days that we had an hour lunch break once.
From the new contract, I would love if there was more time. From the new time, I would love to see the restoration of the supper money and the lunch money. I would love to see more space between runs.
I would like to not do back-to-back-to-backs that we're often forced into. There's got to be some sort of regulation on forcing tour guides to go to talk nonstop for 7 or 8 hours straight. That's kind of crazy, and it's really straining.
I do think that the company administration understands that they can never go wrong investing in people who are bringing them money.
We see ourselves as a partnership with this company, and everybody will get greater profits if the tour guides are treated well enough that we can attract the most professional people.
It's difficult having to beg for tips, and I think if we had a better contract, if we had more money, a better hourly rate, we wouldn't have to beg for tips. We could just focus on our tour and not focus on our tip speech.
Please remember that tourism is a service trade and tips are always appreciated, and we mean that. We will remember you.
I think that people really need to sit down together, for instance, the dispatchers with the union folks, with the managers, with the tour guides, and ask all of us as a group, what's wrong with your job? What's wrong with the bid contracts? What's wrong with your job stability as you see it? What is your take on this? What is it that we could do better to make this an easier job, to sort of get some of the kinks out so that you can deal with the real problems, like people standing up and almost getting decapitated on your buses, and little things like that that are not necessarily part of the contract negotiations, but are a very important part of running a safe company.
These tour guides are absolutely essential to the company. And we're going to go into the contract negotiation bringing more money into the company, and that is going to be the foundation of how we're going to demand the money we deserve for ourselves. This is a very profitable company. They can share their profits with us. We're the ones who earn it.